Hello, good morning, business builders. It's Jodie here from The 7 Effect, and I'm really excited to get stuck into this week's top tips. In fact, I've got some really big stuff to share with you. I want to be talking about becoming the fairy godmother and what your version of that is. We're also going to talk about some LinkedIn tips and tricks I want to share with you from a recent session that I've done. Hello if you are watching. Hey Lucy, good morning. Now, can you hear me okay, Lucy? I've got two microphones that I'm sort of jumping between. I've got one over here. Oh, you probably can't see that. And then a new one here. But I don't want to test it too much on the live. I'm just going to stick to what I've known has been working. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So we're going to be talking about the fairy godmother, what your version of that is, LinkedIn tips that I want to share with you, and then also a new phenomenon that is sweeping the world. Well, it's probably not that new, it's just new to me. 75 hard and the lessons you can learn. Good morning, Suzanne. So my question to you is, are you ready? So let's get stuck straight into it. Do you like how I've thrown the intro at the start there and I've got a different thing to end out of? I'm really excited. Good morning, Leanne. I'm so glad to have you here as well. Great to see you. I'm really excited to actually be in the final quarter here in LBB. I actually love this time of year. It's festive season, it's wind down season, and for me, it's lots of reflecting on what the year has been like. What are the lessons that I've learned? What are the big mistakes that I've made? Because there's always plenty. And what are the things that I'm determined to get right in the new year? I see a lot of people slide in and out of New Year's in an instant, like, whoa, that just hit up on me. I think the final quarter is the time to really be setting yourself up for success in the new year. And so I want to give you some tips on some of the things that I've been learning recently that will help you do that. Hello, Joe. Great to hear you and excited about soaking up all the golden nuggets. Let's soak them up, shall we? Great to have you here. Now, by the way, before I get into it, I do need to do some shout outs. Wow, what a week it's been of yay moments in LBB. Congratulations, Marianne Bennett. Woohoo! Selling another high value program. And what I love about this is Marianne's finally got to that price point where she always imagined it would be impossible. When we first met and started working with Marianne, she was nervous about selling a $150 one-on-one session and felt like she kind of had to give it all away for free. Let's be honest, lots of people start there. And now that very same sort of service and product has been packaged up into a high value program, and she's selling it for over $1,000. And of course, because it helps people dramatically improve their life, it's well and truly worth it. In fact, I think it might even be, is it $1,500 or $1,200 now, Marianne? I don't know, but huge congratulations to you. Great to see your funnel is working, the conversions are happening, and your work is transformational. Go you. Another big shout out to Trish, our in-house sound healer and therapist. Now, I do need to say, Trish is actually doing a sound healing here at the Life Design Studio this Sunday. It's only like $60, I think. If you've been to Bali and experienced the pyramids of chi, which is much more than $60 to go and do, but well worth it when you're in Bali. Think pyramids of chi here in Adelaide in the Life Design Studio. I've been to one of Trish's sound healings and I can tell you it is incredible. The sounds that come out of that woman's mouth and the beautiful music that she creates with her gongs and her singing bowls is truly magical. I'm booking myself in and Lara in. There's only 10 spots available, I think. I don't know how many's left, maybe only a handful, I'm not sure. But I recommend jumping along and coming and hanging out Sunday this week for a sound healing. But the big shout out to Trish is her radio interview that's coming up. So yay for you, Trish. And I think absolutely go for a regular slot on that radio station. Let us know if you get it. And then the other shout out was to Carrie Taylor. Well done, Carrie. Now, Carrie's actually transitioned from focusing on one-on-one work with clients as a physiotherapist into getting out into the corporate world and training organizations how to create safe and healthy workplaces, business health for keeps. And what I love about Carrie's recent success is it's all the sprouts of the Chinese bamboo that she's been growing over the last 6 months. When she joined the Lifestyle Business Builder, my big tip for Carrie was to say, let's repivot you, let's get you into the corporate space, and let's have you working with organizations, doing workshops, doing programs where you can help organizations achieve health for keeps. So congrats, Carrie, on another council coming and knocking on your door saying, hey, we need what you've got. It's wonderful to see that you've landed so many jobs in that space this year. Yay for you. All right, so that's always fun to do a bit of a shout out to the yays that are going on, and for everyone else, which I know so many more people are having success. Yay for all the good stuff that you're doing. Let's talk about the tips for this week. So the first one I want to share is some lessons that I learned from my recent time at the epic 2-day Meet the Press masterclass with Kate Engler. Now, Kate is phenomenal, and I think Taki Moore does online Zoom events really, really well. But Kate took it to an entirely new level. I was not expecting the show that we got to see through this online masterclass. She used to do them always as 2-day events live, and she'll go back to doing that next year. But obviously with COVID restrictions this year, and she's based in Melbourne, she's taken all of the phenomenon and she's put it online. And I think it was absolutely brilliant. And in fact, in some ways, even better than probably having to go to Melbourne, although I always love a trip. So I've now been dubbed the fairy godmother for women in business. And if you've read my posts on Facebook, I talk about the journey of me receiving that title from Kate about a month ago, and how awkward and weird it felt, to then owning it in my pitch. Basically what happened in the Meet the Masters masterclass, you spend the entire first day getting in the zone, crafting your pitch, looking at current issues of where you can angle in, and Kate works with you one-on-one to just hone that and get it right. Then in the second day, you do a bit of prep work, get yourself ready, and then in the afternoon, 11 journalists come in and you get put into small pods with 5 or 6 people, and you each get a turn to pitch for 1 minute and then 5 minutes of Q&A from the journalist. Now, I'm talking journalists from A Current Affair, the Channel 9 morning show, mainstream radio stations in Melbourne and Sydney, The Age, the Financial Review, Inside Small Business Magazine, Carousel, Women Love Tech, like other lifestyle magazines. So these are kind of like the premium journalists across Australia. And what's really interesting is pitching to all 11 of them. When I got to the part about, and so I've been dubbed the fairy godmother for women in business, their faces literally lit up, and they all at the end said, I love that you're the fairy godmother for women in business. That's fantastic. And so the exciting news is, out of all of that pitching, I've been invited to write, even on a regular occasion, to a couple of business magazines, go on a live streaming news show and talk about business. What else? Write for a women's lifestyle magazine called Carousel. And also, one of the mainstream TV shows is interested in doing a story on the 7 Effect, or the fairy godmother, as well as the results that some of my clients are achieving. So the story will actually be more about my clients than it will probably about me, but that's just the way the game works. So stay tuned. Some of you may be invited to come and join me on national TV. So we find out more about that this week, which is pretty cool. But let's get into the nuts and bolts. Woohoo! Congratulations, Jodie. Thank you so much. Oh, it's Ali. Thanks, Ali, for that. Let's get into how can you implement some of the cool stuff that I've learned. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully that's working. Let's just cancel this. I did a post on LinkedIn and there was 7 tips that I shared. So let me talk you through the 7 tips of things that you can do if you're interested in getting free PR for your business. Now, here's the thing. Kate Engler is such an amazing person. And once you've done the masterclass, and I'll have an ongoing relationship with her, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to convince her in 2021 to drop into LBB and do a 2-hour business craft class on this. So fingers crossed, we're going to be able to pull that off next year. I'm pretty confident she'll do it because she's just that kind of cool person. Now, Leanne's got a comment here. Your feather logo fits better than ever. One of those straying from your... Oh, I know. Good point, Leanne. I had not thought of that. My feather logo is just one straying from my fairy wings of the fairy godmother. I love that. Thank you. All right, so let's get into the 7 things, shall we? So tips around PR. Take a breath, Jodie. Ali, this is the problem. I've had a sip of coffee. Ali said to me, do you know you go crazy when you drink coffee? It's true, I do. And I haven't even had the whole coffee yet. I've just had 2 mouthfuls of it. So here are the things. Number 1, your thing is not the story. So sometimes people go, oh my God, I've launched an amazing business. I've written this incredible book. I've created this wonderful program. They don't care. The story is not your thing. The story is the issue around your thing. So for example, my introduction to my pitch was, if COVID has taught us anything, it's that this notion of a safe, secure job is really no longer the safe, secure option. And not only that, as isolation eases and people start to think about returning to work, particularly working mums, this dread and resentment about going back to the old way is starting to present. No one wants to get stuck in peak hour traffic anymore. No one wants long days in the office. You get the example. So this was the start of my pitch. And as you're saying the pitch, the journalists are nodding, going, aha, I hear you. Now, the interesting thing is, I created the issue. Now the solution is, so I've been dubbed the fairy godmother for women in business because essentially I help working mums make the leap from employee to entrepreneur and utilize their existing skills so they can build a business that still earns them great money, doing what they love, and have time for their family, friends, and a little bit of freedom. And so that was essentially my pitch, polished up a little bit more. But you get where I'm going. I didn't really showcase me. I showcased the issue. I've just got this cute little name, the Fairy Godmother for Women in Business, and then the solution. It's not about me. And this is why when the TV producer said, we really want to do a story on you, Jodie, you need to bring me, because I pitched some of my clients. She said, have you got case studies? Have you got women that have done this? And I said, yeah, I've got Suzanne, I've got Sue, I've got Mary, I've got Tony, I've got all these people I can throw at you. And she said, great, you bring me them, and that's what the story will be about. Okay, so I've covered off, your thing is not the story, the issue is the story. So the issue for me is working mums realizing through the pandemic that, you know what, maybe they don't want that life anymore, maybe they want a different life. And I think that that's been the case for many working mums, not just because of the pandemic, but it's highlighted. The other thing is, don't bury the headline. Now, this is more for written press releases. So Kate has taught us how to do all of that, following up from our pitching. The nice thing is for the journalists, we've kind of got that personal connection now that we got to meet, and we can go straight to them about the feedback they've given and the invite that they've created and just jump into it. But cold contacts for journalists, you need to have a really good headline. The headline should not be buried in waffle or talk about you and problems. They do like drama. So when I was talking to the lady from the Today Morning Show, she said, well, can you give us a bit of your backstory of you? And I said, yeah, I came from the space of being a stressed out single mum, workaholic, social alcoholic. And she went, yeah, we need all that stuff. So they want the big dramatic issue that you've been stuck in. That can be part of the headline. Often they'll write the headline, but you've just got to come up with what is the actual main juicy bit. Showcase the hook. What is the hook? Well, working mums learning to turn their skills into a profitable business, or the producers can help you work out what the hook is. A hot tip: don't do the spray and pray approach. So let's say you create a really nice press release with a great headline, a really good hook that's showcased. Don't then go, all right, I'm going to find every journalist that I can that could possibly publish this, and I'm going to spread it to them all. Just copy, paste, send, copy, paste, send, copy, paste, send. They hate that. Every one of the 11 journalists said, never, ever, ever do that. We can smell it a mile if you've done the whole broad, here's a media release, or here's something I want you to publish. They want to be wooed. They said, we have egos. We like them to be stroked, meaning, and they were all lovely people. They were not egotistical, but meaning we like to know that you at least read our publication, listen to our radio station, or watch our TV show, and that you understand who our audience is, and that there's some sort of personal connection. A bit like when you apply for a job, you don't want to send your CV out to hundreds of companies and not even bother to tweak the cover letter for the individual organization. Have the guts to stand out and shine. So have the guts to be a little bit quirky, be a fairy godmother, be the queen of style, be whatever you need to be. They like catchy, gimmicky things. Mainstream media. You have a look at mainstream media. It's gimmicky, it's catchy, it's drama. All of those things is what sells. Hot tip as well, they say if it bleeds, it leads. So if there's a lot of issues or big problems that have come out to transformational change, then really good. The more drama, the better. Your headline must be unwalk pastable. Made up word by Kate Engler, but as you are imagining your headline sitting in the inbox, it must be like, whoa, okay, I need to know more. The other thing is, you don't have to be too clever. They said, you know what we love more than anything for the print and digital media? Lists. Give us your lists. We love good lists. 7 reasons why you should do this. 3 big mistakes that people make. The 5 fundamental things you must know about this. So lists are rocking. Magazines and digital media love your lists. Think 10 commandments, 7 deadly sins. I did a whole copy fix class on that just last week. Jump into copy fix and watch that if you want more tips on how to build great lists. And then finally, if you get a journo interested in your story, always ask them, what's the deadline? And if you break the deadline, you're done. Not just in the moment, but probably for the future. So some hot tips there that I've learned from the Meet the Press Masterclass. Watch this space, folks. I'm going to be working my butt off to get Kate Engler to jump in for a business craft class in 2021. I'm sure she'll do it. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight into some of the things that I picked up. Obviously, it was 2 intense days. There's lots more. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee, just so I can go even faster now. But of course, if you have any questions about those, jump onto the coaching call at 10 o'clock this morning or Thursday night, 7 till 9, and let's get your PR plan in place. This is the beautiful thing about the Lifestyle Business Builder. I'm investing in all these kind of programs and hunting the information. I recommend that when you start making enough money that you go and do all this kind of cool stuff as well. But what I can do is I can bring back the goods and say, here's some tips. Here's what I've learned. Let me help you achieve that stuff. Ali is having a laugh, probably at my coffee consumption. All right, tip number 2. Speaking of Ali, Ali's a great one to ask for tips around this because I want to talk about LinkedIn. Ali is freaking smashing it on LinkedIn, has been for some time. When I left the corporate world, I turned my back on suits. I turned my back on the Adelaide CBD and offices and hanging out in there, really. And I turned my back on LinkedIn. Now, I already had several thousand connections on LinkedIn, but I decided I don't want to, and LinkedIn was really, to be honest, sorry, I'm about to say a naughty word, but it was shit. LinkedIn was shit 6 years ago, in my opinion. Now, LinkedIn's come a long way, and for the last 5 years, every coach I've had has said, Jodie, you need to get into LinkedIn. Jodie, you need to get into LinkedIn. And I've gone, nah, I don't want to play in LinkedIn. So I've only played on Facebook, really, when we look at social media. Hot tip, if you want to get if you want to get noticed by journalists, they're all over Twitter. Twitter and LinkedIn are the places where the media go. They don't really give a crap about Facebook. Instagram, yep, sure, they're into that as well, but Twitter is their number one hangout. I don't do Twitter at all. So let's talk about LinkedIn. I did a great online masterclass last week with Karen from Quisk, the people that designed the 7 Effect logo. Now, Karen is fantastic. She often does LinkedIn coaching and training. And in fact, a couple of years ago, we had Karen jump into LBB and do a LinkedIn masterclass for our students, which was brilliant. But if you want to be on LinkedIn, there's a couple of things that she recommends that you do consistently. A minimum of 3 posts a day. She also said get into writing articles. Let's go back to share the screen. And I had a one-on-one session with Leanne yesterday, and we were talking about articles, and she said, how do we do that, Jodie? And I went, that's a great question. I used to do them. The last article I wrote was actually in 2016, we saw. But if you can see on my screen, it's very, very simple. If you look up here, I'm at the home section. So I've gone to the home page, which is this little house, and then it'll invite me to start a post, and I could put a photo up and a short post. You could do a video. You can list for a job, or you can click write an article. Now, writing an article is basically like creating a blog. You can put a banner image here and make a nice headline. Image. You have your headline, make it unwalk pastable, maybe then journos will catch on to it. And then in your content here, you can add images, video, all sorts of cool stuff for visual impact. So when it comes to LinkedIn, 3 posts a week. Yes, I did mean 3 posts a week. You're quite right, Leanne. I don't know what I said. Blame it on the coffee, hey? And 1 article a month at least. Now, that's a foundational thing if you want to get seen and noticed on LinkedIn. Here, Ali's got some comments for us on LinkedIn, and she says it's basically a platform to be able to find and connect with your ideal customer client and then message directly to their inbox. It absolutely is, Ali, and it's a great platform because what you can also do, if I go back to the home, I'll just share my screen again, is here I can search for, let's say I'm like Ali and I want to connect with, because I do leadership training and courageous conversations, and I want to connect with HR managers in Adelaide. I can search in there and I can literally find all of the different HR managers that are based in Adelaide, and I go, all right, these are the people that I want to start making connections with. Not the people that I want to start spraying and praying on, mind you, but the people that I want to start reaching out to, adding value to, etc., etc. And so LinkedIn is a really helpful platform to be able to build your profile in the professional arena. It's a really helpful platform, as Ali said, to be able to get direct to the source. And Ali says here, you can also save drafts in there too. Super helpful if you want to batch your articles. Oh my God, great idea. Did not know that. Boom. Thank you, Ali. That's fantastic. So here's the thing. Get on LinkedIn. I've made it a commitment of mine to do LinkedIn every day. For 5 years, all my coaches have been saying, Jodie, do LinkedIn. Jodie, your target audience are on LinkedIn. The biggest mistake that I see people make in business, it's the thing that Amy Springhall talks about from the Edge Communications and Leadership, is they stay invisible. Why is Ali smashing it on LinkedIn? Because I cannot log on to LinkedIn without seeing her articles, her posts, her insights, and it's value. She's adding value all the time. The other thing that she's doing is positioning herself as someone who really knows their shit. Because do you know what? Excuse my language. She's also launched a podcast and she's now got her beautiful branding sorted. Now, you'd never know this, Ali, I'm sure you don't mind me sharing, but when Ali did our boot camp, not last year, but the year before, she was laughing, crying at her design skills, saying, oh my God, why is everything I make so ugly? Why can't I get this right? But you know what? Ali being Ali, she never freaking gave up. She just kept cracking on. And now she's come up with this beautiful design that just looks so on point. She just went away and that night after the boot camp or that couple of weeks just kept going and going and going until she refined something. She kept putting stuff into she says it's so true. I mean, it was so ugly. It's true, Ali. But what I loved, I laughed a lot in that boot camp at your ugly stuff, and it inspired me to create an ugly folder because we've all got them in business. But what I love even more is that Ali was determined to crack the code. I see what a lot of people do is they give up and they quit. So the final tip that I want to leave you with, speaking of cracking the code and building toughness, sticking in the game, is this thing called 75 hard. Now, I'd love to hear from anyone if you've heard of it. Just type yes or no in the comments if you've heard of 75 hard. Now, I've got a picture here somewhere. Let's see where it is. Of a screenshot from 75 hard. I just brought it up. Where was it? Oh, maybe it's on this screen, that's why. Here we go. So this is what the app looks like. And here's the challenge. Now, I'm not proposing that you all do this challenge, but there's lessons in it from a business model and from a transformational, game-changing kind of thing. It's a bloke that does this. Look at that. It's super bogan kind of... I don't like his branding, but Dana Gardner, one of the guys in LBB, would love this branding. I must share it with him. But basically, let's talk about what it is. So 75 Hard is a free program, and it's a program designed by a very wealthy entrepreneur to help people build mental strength, grit, resilience, toughness. It's for people who want to transform themselves inside and out. And it's super simple, but not super easy. And so there's a free podcast that you can listen to where this guy explains exactly why and how he's built the program. There's two things I want to look at from this angle. A bit about the business model. So there's an app you can buy, which is $7.99, where you track your success. And there's also his book, which is about $50 American dollars plus another, $20 to get it shipped to Australia, where you can read deeply in it. But the reality is you don't need to spend any money to do 75 Hard. He says it is a free kind of program. Here's how it works. He says for 75 days, and by the way, the reason I've heard about this or got onto it is a lot of people in Black Belt, the Taki Moore community that I'm in, are doing it. In fact, Rana, I think his name's Rana, he's the founder of the LinkedIn guys, the influencer project. So they're very big in LinkedIn. Rana just completed it and he showed his before and after photos. Boom, phenomenal. So here's the thing. For 75 days, there are 5 things you have to do religiously every single day. And you track them in that app that I just showed you. So I actually did this on day 1. And here's the thing. I've decided 75 days. I'm going to do this in the new year. I don't think that I would take it on for a full 75 days over the silly season. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to actually go from yesterday to whenever I break in training, prepping me for the next year, for my New Year's attempt at 75 days. He says, if you do this for 75 days, it will literally change you. You will be the kind of person who no longer makes excuses, who no longer gives up, who no longer feels weak or insecure or down about yourself. He said, it will change you from the inside out. There are 5 things you have to do every single day without fail for 75 days, and you cannot make an adjusted version to suit yourself. He says one of the reasons why most people fail in all of these programs is they go, well, I'll kind of do it, but I'll make my own style of it. Or, well, I'll do it, but I'll just have a little cheat day on the weekends. And he says we're constantly negotiating with ourselves and making excuses for ourselves about the things that we can't do and justifying why we can't do it. So 75 Hard is designed to be the kick up the butt. And he said there's no accountability. You're your freaking accountability coach. There's no one checking up on you. You check up with the integrity of yourself every single day. You click the app and you check the things that you need to do. Do you want to know what the 5 things are? So here they are. Number 1, you need to drink a gallon of water every single day for 75 days. Now, if you break any one of these 5 things on, say, day 23, back to day 1. You might drink, like a gallon of water is just under 4 liters. You might drink 3 liters of water and think, wow, that's a lot of water, but you don't quite get to the full gallon. Do you know what? And you did all the other 5 things. Back to square one, you fail, you need to start again. He's really, really regimented on this, and I kind of like that. I'm the kind of person who prefers a butt kicking than a, I don't know, soft, soothing approach to trying to change me. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked for me in the past. And even recently, the stuff I've been doing hasn't necessarily given me the results I was hoping for. So I'm going for the hard approach because I like a bit of butt kicking. So drink a gallon of water every day for 75 days. Do 2, not 1, but 2 45-minute workouts every day for 75 days. Every day, one of those workouts has to be outdoors. Now, the workout can be a walk for 45 minutes. It can be a yoga class for 45 minutes. It can be a weights training session for 45 minutes. It can be a bike ride for 45 minutes. Whatever you want it to be, but there must be 2. They must be separate. You can't do a 90-minute one and go tick, tick, done it. And one of them at least must be outdoors. They can both be outdoors if you want them. That's the second thing. The third thing is read 10 pages of a non-fiction book. Not listen to 10 pages on an audiobook, not read it on a iPad. Read a physical freaking book. Why? Because he says, I want you to see the progress of 10 pages every day getting turned. Really important thing. He said, this is not a fitness lose weight challenge. Most people do because that's a byproduct of it. But the reality is it's about training the toughness of the mind. The fourth thing you need to do is take a photo of yourself every day to track your progress. So he recommends take a photo in your knickers or shorts without a shirt on and see your body changing over the time, even your posture, how you feel about yourself. This is about looking and meeting what you see in the mirror, face to face, eye to eye. And then the fifth thing is you must follow a diet that's related to your particular goals that you want to achieve for your own health and body. He doesn't tell you which diet you should choose. I'm choosing keto, so the ketogenic. And he says you have to stick to it. And that means it's not saying, oh, I'm going to follow a diet of eating McDonald's and Krispy Kremes every day for 75 days. No. It needs to be a health-related diet. So a diet that will build muscle mass, if that's your goal. A diet that will help you burn fat, if that's your goal. Whatever your goal is, follow that kind of diet. And he says in that means no alcohol for 75 days straight. So I think that there's some cool lessons in this for us all from a business building perspective. And my challenge to you is, what would be maybe 3 to 5 simple things that you could do every single day for 75 days that would help build your business? You could do a post on your social media platform of choice. You could read 10 pages of a book that's related to your business area of expertise. You could spend 10 minutes writing or 30 minutes writing content for blogs and articles that could be posted throughout the journey. You could, what else could you do? You could write one quote a day that's your own particular quote. There's so many cool things that you could do. Anyway, I've gone over time for Top Tip Tuesday because it is now 8:35. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a jam-packed session. I hope you've enjoyed it and got some gold. Remember, coaching call 10 a.m. this morning and then again on Thursday. By the way, thank you so much, Ali, for hosting last week's coaching call when I was at the Meet the Press Masterclass. All right, that's it from me. I'm signing off and I'll see you all soon in the Lifestyle Business Builder. Bye-bye.